Okay, everyone, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Medicine Buddha and whatever else comes out of my mouth in this session. Welcome, everyone, from everywhere. I see folks from Maui. Um, I see Australia. I think I saw someone from Australia. Um, Hello to the UK people. I think it's morning time. I think it's in the morning in Australia. Earliest morning, I think. Yeah. So, in any case, welcome everyone. Also, welcome to those of you who are new to this space. This is Medicine Buddha, and I'm Lama Rod. I use he/him pronouns, and I live and teach on the ancestral lands of the Muskogee, Cherokee, and Creek people. Um, and we call this land Atlanta in Georgia. And we are post election, finally. We're always the last state to finish elections, it seems like these days, every past two election cycles. Um, so that's really nice to be out of that. Because I don't literally this election, the past two elections, the 2020 elections and the midterms, these past midterms, it's just been like you get calls like I get called like 5 times a day. You get all these emails. You get texted just as much. You have people coming to your door every day. You get tons of campaign mailing, and I just have a pile of these big um, like campaign marketing materials. So it's just I have felt harassed and a little overwhelmed by elections, but that's over. So that's really nice. Then again, you have all the other shit that's going on in the world to deal with. So there you go. Welcome to Samsara. Um, so again, welcome to those who are coming into the room. And welcome to everyone from that I spent time with in Asheville and Southern Dharma. Welcome, everyone. If you were with me in the 1 day retreat or the Southern Dharma retreat, say hello in the chat. And hello to everyone. I'm so happy, now that I'm teaching more out in public, I get to meet people um, who are who are coming to Medicine Buddha. Medicine Buddha started really as a support for people, for all of us during the pandemic at the very beginning, pandemic and quarantine and everything. And, we're still going because, well, pandemic is still going. Yeah, just say hello if you were in one of the events this past week. It was really nice, really, really incredible time in Nashville and up in the mountains. And I hope everyone got a little something out of it that has supported your practice. So this Saturday is the Holiday Frolic, the online 1 day event. If if you think Christmas is overwhelming, more than likely this is going to be more than overwhelming. So just prepare yourself. I think it's a lot of fun. Lots of Christmas carols, karaoke this year. You get to practice my infamous Christmas carol practice, which I think will be even more powerful this year. the annual book review of some of the really great books that have come out this year. And what else do I do? And practice, and just kind of like a nice fun time. You're encouraged to wear your holiday sweaters. I will be having multiple costume changes as well. So I'm always excited about that. It's the only time of year I wear a lot of color. So there we go. You know, yeah. So that's this Saturday, 10 to something Eastern time. You can go to my website, lamarod.com, to look at those details and sign up. So I hope to see you on Saturday. I think it will be fun. Let's see, what else? Questions? You can go ahead and put those questions in the ask a question. Let's see. Yeah. What else? Please go ahead and add your prayers to the Google Doc. So when we get to that, that's pretty set and ready to go. Let's see, what else? I don't think I have anything in particular to share around announcements. Anything else? Yeah. So in this session today, I really am interested. The solstice is coming up, right? And so we'll have, I think the solstice, the solstice is next week. So we'll have Monday to do a solstice practice. So we'll do a solstice practice on Monday and see how that goes. The light is already changing again. So it's so really interesting. The light is just kind of like returning now, at least here. So in any case, yes, Medicine Buddha, we're switching over. So next month we will be back on Zoom. So which will be good, I think, for us to go back as well. I think the platform is a lot easier to work with than Crowdcast, and just from my opinion, my experience. And I'll be able to do more sharing of media. Like there's lots of stuff that I would love to share, but I can't do that, necessarily on my screen. So we'll be able to share music, pictures, diagrams, stuff. I think that would be helpful for deepening our practice. And then in January, we'll start our mantra practice as well. And this will be just an extra special kind of guided. We'll start off as a guided practice, but this is a practice that I would like everyone to do on their own. So this is just accumulating mantras of Medicine Buddha, which is really important for us to begin to attune to the consciousness frequency or the consciousness of Medicine Buddha as well. And we go through a lot of mantra recitations to begin to kind of start becoming sensitive to the frequency of Medicine Buddha, right? And once you hit that frequency, you can hold that frequency in practice. More than likely, if you've been sitting with me in the session for a bit, you're already attuned as well. Empowerments can be thought of as attunements as well. But you've got, so an empowerment is just an attunement. right? And it's someone um, who kind of points you, adjusts you within the frequency of a particular practice of a deity or energy, a particular energy to channel, right? But you really only need like one practice session in this space to get attuned. But the mantra recitation is not, it's more than attunement, it's actually um, a deepening into the consciousness of Medicine Buddha, right? And the mantra should be, any mantra that you're working with should be very natural. It should be very embodied as well. Um, so the mantra over time, after you practice with it for a bit, it just feels like you feel the energy of the mantra, but also the energy of the mantra is also the consciousness of the deity as well. So Teata and Bacon say, Maha Bacon say, Asumagate Soha, right? You can just feel the energy of the mantra in your body and your mind. Um, and so, Andy, you asked, I would love to know how to hold the vibration. How do I know if I am doing it? So it's not that we hold the vibration, but it's more like relaxing into it, right? And it's not so active. The holding isn't terribly, it just becomes a part of you over time. Like it becomes a frequency that you can adjust to do certain work, right? And I would say in my experience, how do I know if I hold the frequency? Well, I can, because I've been practicing with it for so long. I just have this innate connection to the mantra. Like I can just feel it. Like it's one way to determine that is that yet if you turn your mind mentally to the mantra, you can just feel it. You can feel the energy of the mantra. So however you feel chanting the mantra, you can feel that within your experience. Now, when we do the mantra recitations and the accumulation of mantras, that will become even stronger for you. This is why we're going to do it. Because this is very traditional to do mantra accumulation for deities, and that way you can just begin to feel that, right? And it becomes easier to attune to the frequency of other beings as well once you learn how to attune to one being, to the frequency of one deity. Let's see. That was a very good question um, as well. I think I want to work with light, the light energy of Medicine Buddha. So when we're talking about light, we're talking about consciousness, we're talking about the clarity of consciousness. So we're talking about particularly awakened consciousness. So it's consciousness. So awakened consciousness. um, let's just talk about us as beings first before we get into deities. So we are all conscious beings, and consciousness we can describe as energy that is intelligent, that is aware. So intelligent energy, this energy pervades everything, right? We pervade each other. We're all emanating from the same essence. We call that Buddha nature, or emptiness, or God, or the mother. So we're actually this illusion. This separateness is an illusion that is maintained by ego. Um, And we're constantly trying to dissolve our fixation to ego to allow our awareness, right? So our awareness is actually hovering around the ego, kind of like drawn to the ego because we think it's what we are, right? And that's confusion. Being um, that's delusion. I would say delusion, ignorance, the lack of clarity or the lack of wisdom, right? So when we begin to dissolve fixation to ego, which comes about through actually practicing noticing or tuning into the illusion or the emptiness of ego itself, then our awareness begins to kind of like relax and expand because it's not tangled up around the ego. So it begins to relax and expand, right? So our awareness can then expand out into the natural expression of consciousness, right? I can't expand out to excuse me, to, well, all these words actually don't really help, it's really hard to find the words, but it's like, it's like how you're looking at, it's like, here's a good example. It's like the forest and the trees example. Like you can't see the forest because of the trees, right? And that's what awareness is like. We're just focused on trees. But when we start disrupting fixation to ego, our awareness expands and we begin to actually become aware of the forest. In this case, we begin to expand out into the spaciousness and the boundlessness of ego. I'm sorry, the boundlessness of consciousness, right? Boundlessness of consciousness. So to begin with, well, first of all, to begin with, I'm going to light my candle for the session. So if you have a candle, feel free to light it. I'm going to, the beginning of the year, I will be offering, well, not for the public, but in my private practice, I will be offering ways for people to sponsor prayers and candles for my practice with candles, candle work, and you will get information. You can sponsor candles and prayers in the new year. But anyway, we're lighting our candle. And again, the candle represents the light, the energy of consciousness itself. Okay. The clarity, the energy, the vibrancy, the power of our intelligence, right, is symbolized by the flame. And so again, like when I, at this stage I'm working with the candle, I just began to imagine that the energy of this light, of this flame begins to awaken within my own experience, within my body, within my mind. So I feel the energy of light awakening in my experience. And again, these are experiences that we just kind of have to train in to understand. These are frequencies again, right? These are just certain frequencies that we begin to attune to right? And once we consciously attune to these frequencies, then we can use those attunements to offer prayers and to make things happen that need to happen for the benefit of others or for ourselves, you know. But also, of course, like this is also really important for our wellness, you know, for our mental and physical wellness as well. Like this kind of work is actually about activating and awakening our energy body. So the body, our chakras, um, our channels, um, strengthening life force energy, you know, strengthening our capacity to hold and experience prana or kundalini and shakti. You know, kundalini. So these are life, these are universal energies that drive the universe, that permeate the universe, right? Shakti being like this expression of love, right? This feminine divine consciousness. I would even go as far as to say that prana could be the energy of the father, but I don't have enough data to support that. It's just a speculation. So we're igniting the energy bodies, well, our energy body, right? With through just a simple practice of allowing this to, well, the simple practice of imagining that this light begins to activate in our bodies. Right? So anyway, going back to the practice I was just about to introduce before lighting the candle, um, I just, just invite you just to begin to experience what that may be like to expand your awareness, to begin to awaken or to connect to consciousness, which is, again, consciousness is pure, direct, simple being of intelligence, energy that pervades everything. Noticing how you want to stay close to the ego, to the sense of self, to self. And of course, the traditional language is relaxing, but relaxing is really tricky language, because we make relaxing so much more complicated. But in this case, it's actually literally actually relaxing. Relaxing our attention to expand into awareness, letting that awareness expand into the pure being, an expression of consciousness. And so, one of the ways that I get into this kind of relaxing and expansion is first, again, maybe starting with an anchor, which is holding our attention. You can start with the weight of your body, right? And how the seat rises to hold you. And I always do, you've noticed, I always do the weight of our bodies and the seat because for me, That's the quickest way to get to the earth element is through body density and weight, because I'm very attuned to earth. Um, but you can pick any neutral anchor as well. I want it to be something close to the body, not necessarily in the body, but close. Because for me, this is how I can expand outward. If I start close to the body and then relax outward. So once you have that anchor, I invite you to begin to shift your awareness out. So moving from like mindfulness or working through attention and expanding outward that attention, the energy of attention out into awareness. And so in doing that, you become aware or knowing of other um, stimuli arising in the space around you. Sounds, for instance, right? Smells, light, um, whatever tastes, feelings, what have you. So awareness is just knowing, just becoming aware of like everything at once in a way. So relaxing out into awareness. And again, this is the practice of non-doing, right? Even though it feels like you're doing a lot. But this is still the practice of non-doing. And you are also becoming aware of space. Like this is where the space really opens up for us. And this is where you're holding everything, which is to say, you're not reacting. So you're not thinking about everything. You're not pushing anything away. You're not creating anything. You're not holding on to anything. You're just allowing everything to rise, right? To, often I think of mind as ocean like mind. So everything's just kind of floating, in the mind. The water itself is awareness itself. Everything is kind of floating in that awareness. And I don't have to, fixate or, I just notice. And if I find myself fixating by thinking about it or reacting to it, I just let it go. I say, oh, I'm thinking, and let it float right back out into the sea. You can also do like a little hand gesture, a little sassy, little queer hand gesture, right? You can just say, away with you, thoughts. Away with you. Now you're not pushing the thought away, but you're just releasing it. Just release it. You say, oh, I am done. Let it go. I'm done. Let it go. Or if you just like, just swirling your wrist around, please do so too. I mean, all you have to do is be aware of it. Like you can do whatever you want. Like literally, you can be an asana, you can be walking, you can be eating. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's the only thing is you have to know you're doing it, and you can't be fixated on it. It's just this thing that's arising in your mind, because everything is actually arising in our minds. There's nothing outside of the mind. Even the body is within the mind, right? So yeah, I think it's actually a really great idea if you add some movement here. It can be just a little bit of wrists. Elizabeth waving to the crowd. The crowd. You know, I often do this when I'm just sitting alone because part of my fantasy is that I am a queen. So you're like the queen, you know, but just a little bit of movement. Just know that you're moving, noticing the movements, the flow. You're not thinking about it. You're not thinking about it. You're just letting the body just do its own thing. However much you're moving, whatever you're doing, just let the body have its way. But you're just knowing. You just know this is all floating within awareness, right? And I love it that from this angle and from this lighting, my nails look really good, but they're actually quite due um, for a little spa treatment pretty soon. As Rachel says, moaning can be good as well. And don't I know, sweetheart, I do know that moaning can be quite releasing. So you're preaching to the choir. So moving, you know, but again, you're expanding, keeping awareness wide and spacious and fluid. Like everything just comes and goes. This is the water element here. Everything's just coming and going, floating. And then the world and all phenomena and everything that you're struggling with, and this, all of that, everything just becomes much more spacious and much more full of potential. Nothing's so fatal right now and overwhelming. And this is how you consume all this shit that we get fixated on and overwhelmed by, the grief, the anger, the sadness. So now we're still kind of floating in this awareness, but this is kind of the stage, particularly if we're just doing meditation practice here. Like you expand that awareness out even more, right? And it's as if you're becoming aware of everything at once. Right? You're trying to. And what does that mean? What does that feel like? And this is the space where you have to figure out what that is. What is your experience? Right? Because once you are expanding more, becoming aware of everything, that's when we start actually pointing towards or leaning into the expression of consciousness, a natural consciousness that's actually not being distracted by the material of the mind itself. Right. So mind and consciousness we can use interchangeably. I think often consciousness is the particular character of the mind, the particular, I don't know. It is the purest expression of the mind's consciousness, maybe. And this is where deity practice is particularly effective because the deity, through generating, the expression or the image of the deity out of emptiness, actually slowly begins to expand that awareness into consciousness. The deity arises directly out of our consciousness. And of course, fill all of this with light. Let the light shine in. Let the light awaken. Light is already there, right? This is the energy, right? This is the clarity and sharpness of consciousness is this light, this potential. And so just in a moment we'll start moving into mantra work, but now just like I wonder if you can begin to really sense the illusionary quality and nature of everything that's arising in the mind right now, the consciousness, the thoughts and emotions, right? In particular, right? Everything that we're noticing. Because everything that we're noticing, it can be sounds or smells or whatever you, those are just thoughts. Those are just conceptuality of the mind, so thoughts, right? So everything is a thought. And can you feel that, the illusion of a thought, which is also the illusion of whatever you're thinking about as well? So again, everything becomes illusion, which is to say, everything becomes just an expression of emptiness and space and just energy itself. Just a little bit longer, just a couple more moments here. I want you to get a sense of like what it means to rest and allow and open and just kind of float here. So let's begin to, from this very space, we're not adjusting or changing anything, moving to our mantra work. So beginning with our opening mantra, um, Minasange Kino Soha, right? So again, how does this mantra, the energy of this mantra, focus on the energy of the mantra, how does it begin to just arise and expand and permeate, right? The expansive consciousness, right? It should be an expression of consciousness itself as well. So let's try. So we're going to chant it a few times. And I want to begin by chanting um, with just one breath for as long as you can, and then going into the mantra. Okay. Om la zange kino so Om la zange kino so Om la sange kino so ah. Again, noticing the energy. It's a rising of the consciousness of medicine Buddha. And how does this experience of medicine Buddha kind of arise out of your consciousness? What does that feel like? And so, moving into our main mantra now. So, Dea Taon Bacon say, Maha Bacon say, Rasa Sumangate Soha. So, as we begin the main mantra, like this is, obviously, um, I, or rather, I want us to just dwell in this space where we're trying to experience pure consciousness and letting the deity arise from this space in and around consciousness, if that makes sense, right? And the only thing really it doesn't have to make sense. You just let it happen, right? Listening to the mantra or chanting the mantra letting your consciousness, which is also the deity's consciousness, right, just take form. So don't do anything, don't force anything, but just allow the consciousness to shape something divine and sacred from its very nature. And then at the end of our practice, we let it dissolve back into that same space and consciousness, right? And this is the blessing of the deity as well, right? So we'll begin. Raza sumo gate soa te ada begenze ma begenze raza sumo gate soa te ada begenze ma begenze raza sumo gate soa Beata begenze, ma begenze, raza sumo gade zoa. Beata begenze, ma begenze, raza sumo gade zoa. Beata begenze, ma begenze. Raza sumo gate soa, beada begenze, ma begenze, raza sumo gate soa, beada begenze, ma begenze, raza sumo gate soa, beada begenze, ma begenze, raza sumo gate soa, beata 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 Umbegense, begense, mabegense, lasse sumugadesoa. Deata, 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 begenze, begenze, ma begenze, 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 lasse sumugadesoa. So just turning our attention to the prayers, again, staying within this kind of consciousness, this space. So again, calling into the space and getting the attention, really, of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Dharma protectors, all benevolent beings, ancestors, the earth, all the elements, all guardians and protectors of the lands we're living on, all beings of light, including angels and so forth, for the mother, the Father, God, for the essence we call into the space to hold these prayers. We offer prayers for Susan as she lets go of control and just sends love to her son. Offering prayers for Michael as he moves through the process of consciously letting go of his body and death. We're offering prayers for Sister Michelle. May she be safe, may she be remembered, and may she live with ease. Offering prayers for my sister Anne and brother-in-law Jerry. After 60 years of marriage, may they, after 60 years of marriage, they may need to separate due to dementia care. Offering prayers for Shirley and her mom as her family, as her father transitioned to the Bardo on Saturday. Offering prayers for liberation of all beings, for the liberation of American leaders, and the safety of marginalized people around the world. For Linda and her safe passage through the Bardo, may her spirit find peace and ease for her family and their grief. Offering prayers for my inner child. Offering prayers for my husband and I as we begin counseling, that we reconnect deeply and intimately. Offering prayers for all my family with their various struggles. Offering gratitude for my wonderful friendships that span decades. Offering prayers for my beautiful family, that we always have what we need to experience deep connection and care. And prayers of gratitude for the earth. Offering prayers of gratitude for my daughter and prayers that she be held and supported by a chosen family that she finds in the coming months and years. Offering prayers for Barbara, who is close to passing from this life, and for her daughter and her daughter's wife, who are with her during this transition. Offering deep prayers of gratitude for my teachers, Lama Rod, and Angel, Aisha, Sharon. Prayers for everyone experiencing loneliness, isolation, grief, mental health issues, substance use, poverty, illness, and our challenges and other challenges. Offering prayers for several friends, for Marcia Rego in hospital for many days, for Mary supporting her husband Sam, who's been ill for so long, and they are both so exhausted. For Shaba Bailey, Shea Eisenberg, Tom Hannah, Ellen Leonard, who recently entered the Bardo, and her beloved sister Lee, who's mourning her loss. Offering prayers for myself, trying to recover from some recent medical procedures while juggling other things, help with developing more equanimity in the face of personal and collective anxieties. Prayers for inner and outer peace on every level for us all. And offering prayers to make good medical decisions I need to make in upcoming weeks. And offering prayers for Bill Dell, who entered the Bardo Wednesday night. Prayers to my daughter, Anton, who is struggling emotionally. Prayers for me as her mother. May we live with ease. Prayers that all legal issues are resolved favorably and with ease. Prayers for my benefactors, teachers, and guides, seen, unseen, known, and unknown. May we all be protected. Offering prayer for my brother, who started dating again after his wife passed 2 years ago. Offering prayers for those returning from retreat. May their transitions be easeful and supportive. Offering prayers for Grace, her father, and their family. May they be held by the ancestors. Offering prayers of gratitude for the love and support in my life. Offering prayers for Stephanie's mother, who is suffering from late-stage cancer. And offering prayers for my stepbrother, Jason, who just started a 5-year prison sentence, and for his youngest son, who is in the hospital with RSV. And offering prayers for Marin, may she find and know her inner light and divinity. Offering prayers for M, who entered the Bardo a couple of weeks ago. May she be guided and safe. Prayers for J, who has cancer, and for A, who is in the process of passing. Offering prayers for Lynn, for my best friend and family who is going through a difficult time. Let her know that she is loved and held, and that God is change, and the universe always has us. Offering prayers for Rachel, who just had to call in hospice for her mother, Marcia, who has cancer and Alzheimer's. Prayers for their ease, peace, and comfort. Offering prayers for myself to be helped. Offering prayers for myself to help me get through this destabilized period of reorientation after learning of my neurodivergence, for my parents as they continue to recover from surgery, for Nellie healing from cancer, and for the land of Kasawarma as it is being recolonized. Prayers for my cousin and her baby who are in hospital right now, for him who is fighting stage 4 cancer, for my dad who experiences pain and confusion. For C, who is finding belonging in cruelty, may he see a kinder way. Offering prayers for Carla's inner child and prayers to find the right space. I'm offering prayers for Lynn Bartlett, who entered into the spirit realm in Bardo this weekend. May she have all of her obstacles removed, and that she have what she needs to continue her journey towards the next stage of her journey. And for Etta Mendelberger, may she continue to transition into the Bardo as well with her obstacles. And for the healthy birth of Khalil, and for the health and safety of Desiree and her husband, Adam, as well. For the deep well-being, happiness, and joy of Mike, as well as Matthew as well. And we continue to pray for all beings in this world who are currently deep in the struggle of liberation movements, of liberation struggle in countries around the world, including Iran. May all beings, all people be able to live and thrive and experience safety in places free from violence, free from harm, free from threats of any kind. May all systems of violence and discrimination and may all delusion be completely abolished and eradicated, and may we awaken to our innermost brilliant wisdom and clarity. May we situate and embody ourselves within love and compassion and care for all beings, including ourselves. May we all achieve liberation as quickly as possible. May we all be free. And returning back to our mantra practice just for a few minutes. And again, just allowing these prayers to just naturally be offered momentum and energy through this mantra and through the expansion of our awareness into consciousness. O te taun veganze, veganze, ma veganze, rasa sumugate sua. Te taun veganze, veganze, ma veganze, rasa sumugate sua. Te taun veganze, veganze, ma veganze, rasa sumugate sua. Beata 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 veganze, veganze, ma veganze, Beata, more begenze, ma begenze, lazo sumagade soa. Beata, more begenze, ma begenze, lazo sumagade soa. Beata, more begenze, ma begenze, lazo sumagade soa. Beata, more begenze, ma begenze. Razumagalizoma, Yada, Umbeganze, Beganze, Mabeganze, Razumagalizoma, Yada, Umbeganze, Beganze, Mabeganze, Razumagalizoma, Yada, Umbeganze, Beganze, Mabeganze, Razumagalizoma. Yada, begenze, ma begenze, 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 razumagalizoma. Yada, begenze, razumagalizoma. Yada, begenze, ma 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 begenze, razumagalizoma. So slowly beginning to make your way back to this moment, this timeline, perhaps, by bringing your attention back to the seat, the weight of your body, or anything that is neutral for you. Feeling the grounding of the seat, feeling the earth rising to ground you as well. Maybe bringing some movement back into your body. Maybe a few deep cleansing breaths. Now we'll shift our attention to reciting Shantideva's prayer. We'll recite this 3 times together. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine. And may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine. May I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of very beings that reach to the ends of space. Oops. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm just going to quickly take a look at the questions. First question is, are those who have died existing in their energy bodies? Yes. Yes. Once the physical body is shed, you just have your physical body, which we in Buddhism would call our consciousness body. And the consciousness body is shaped by really the last body that we had to work with, or our last life's body. Often this is, what you see. You may see an earthbound spirit, or haunting or something. People, the only thing people, if you haven't trained in meditation and really have agency over your mind, then you just kind of, in the conscious body, you just kind of snap yourself back to the thing that feels so familiar, even though you have this incredible agency to get enlightened completely, right? But it's not as, of course, as easy as it sounds. Okay. Also, not to complicate things, but there are people. I would say a lot of people who are walking around with what's the word? Dead people stuck in them. That's what I want to say. And so basically, a dead person's consciousness, or the consciousness, you know, um, of someone can actually lodge themselves into parts of our bodies, and we can carry those beings around, for any length of time, right? So that's definitely a thing that can happen as well. Really intense grief, really intense emotion actually opens us up to taking on the consciousness of other beings. And they can be lodged anywhere in the body, more or less, right? Kind of stuck, maybe. Um, and then you have to kind of not exercise them out. I mean, I guess it is an exorcism that you would go through, um, to kind of like extract those beings and those beings really, from our bodies. Um, that's advanced tantra theory. That's that'll be that'll be a little ways down the road with medicine Buddha for some of us. Lastly, some mystic traditions talk about a secret place or space at the center of being, where you're alone with the beloved. No one else can follow you there, and there's a secret how to get there. Yeah, everything is there. What is the equivalent in Buddhism? Well, I mean, I think as long as there, yeah, that can act in Buddhist terms, that can actually happen with some connection to ego, and with some conception of the beloved as being kind of the separate experience that we can have. I mean, absolutely, that can happen. You know, I think, just sitting alone, like going, like the way that maybe some of us just practice, like you go into the consciousness of medicine Buddha, that's very equivalent, I think. The medicine Buddha becomes an expression of the beloved, right? Um, this pure essence, this pure essential expression of emptiness, I think, it's quite possible for us to have an experience of that as well. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. And I hope to see uh, you next week. Oh, and you have a follow up question. How does one know if a dead person is stuck in one's body? Um, well, it's hard, actually. Someone else has to tell you. Really good Reiki practitioners should have a sense of that. If you get Reiki treatments, or psychics or mediums, um, can be really helpful, shamans and so forth, right? Um, Sometimes when you have a deep sensitivity, you can begin to notice other intelligent energies, right, in your experience. You can begin to feel that, actually. So, anyway, thank you, everyone, so much. Hope to see you Saturday. If not, I will see you again on Monday. Thank you all so much. Please have a good week, and continue to practice. All right. Thank you, everyone.